Hello everyone, you are watching Biology with Insha. So in this video here, we're going to talk about the phloem vessels, their structure, their function, and what is translocation. Now just to give a bit of an overview, we are working on the chapter Transport in Plants, and we are done with xylem vessels. What is a xylem vessel made up of, and how does water travel in a xylem vessel? There are the three processes. You may watch the video to understand all of that. So this is the second part. Now we're going to study about phloem vessels and how food travels through a phloem vessels. Now this part of the chapter is in great amount of detail, so you need to remain focused. And there's one other thing that I need you all to know. Now the thing is, I am going a bit slow on purpose with all the videos that I'm making and stuff. Now I could have wrapped it off, I could have finished the whole chapter in one go right now, but I rather chose not to and decided to do half of this on phloem vessels, and we'll be doing the other half by next week. The thing is that my team and I were dedicating a lot of time on Project Animate, which is basically a project in which we're working on animating biology videos for you guys, which will be much better than what I'm doing right now. It requires a lot of effort and hard work, and it should prove to be more helpful, knowledgeable, and not only for biology students but for everyone around the globe who may wish to study biology. So therefore I am going a bit slow. However, you need not worry, because knowledgeable content is still coming out. I still managed to get this out just for you guys, and it will keep on happening like this for as long as you can know. So let's get back to our chapter. So if you want to watch the previous videos on xylem vessels or transport in plants, the beginning, the introduction and stuff, you may watch all those videos. The links are down in the description box down below. But in this video here, we're just going to focus on our phloem vessels from the very start till the from the top till the bottom. Okay, so we discussed that a plant is composed of a vascular bundle, which consists of two major vessels, one being the xylem vessels, the second being the phloem vessels. The xylem vessels carry water, and the phloem vessels carry food, right? So let's study phloem vessels in more detail. So the phloem is a part of the vascular bundle, just like I told you, through which food substances are transported. Now we discussed that xylem vessels transport water and your phloem vessels transport food. Now what is that food? It's sugar, glucose, right? And mainly sugar is transported in the phloem vessels in the form of sucrose, okay? It is composed of living cells. Yes, the phloem is composed of living cells, and the food substances are made from a process called photosynthesis. So a process called photosynthesis occurs in every green plant which produces sugar. That sugar needs to be transported around the plant so that it can be used by each and every cell of the plant for respiration, to produce energy, to carry out the vital life processes and activities. So they need to be transported, and they're transported in your phloem vessels in the form of sucrose. Now, even we humans need sugar, right? We eat sugar, we eat food, and then when the glucose is made from the digestion of starch, how does that transportation occur? Basically, it's dissolved in the blood plasma, which travels through the blood vessels and then reaches our cells, and then there's the involvement of tissue fluid and all that detail, which we will be working on all of that after this chapter ends, because that is a totally different chapter. Right. Translocation. What is translocation? This is actually quite important, and this will come in a great amount of detail, right? Oops, let me just get the highlighter. So translocation will come in a great amount of detail, so just understand that this highlight emphasizes the fact that it is very important, okay? We're going to discuss more about it, but for now let's understand what this is. Translocation is the movement, right, of food substances from the leaf to the rest of the plant. So let's get a bit of a visualization for better understanding, okay? So this is your plant, and this is the leaf of the plant, right? Suppose there may be like two leaves, and then these are your roots, and maybe you can say that this is the flower of some sort, right? Just a rough drawing. I'm not gonna make it look pretty. So you can see here that let's choose black to show that there is starch present here, right? There's starch present here. Basically, the starch was made from the process called photosynthesis, and this starch here needs to be delivered to the rest of the plant. It needs to be delivered to the flower, to the stem, to the roots. But how? We know that it happens through these phloem vessels, and it needs to be delivered so that all the different cells of the flower, stem, and leaf can respire, can produce energy, right? So this is what translocation is. Basically, the sugar made here is transported to the different parts of the plant, including the flower, stem, leaf, and this is called translocation. As simple as that. So let's understand the phloem structure. So let's have a look at the structure here. This is a very basic structure and has everything that you need to know. If there's anything extra, I'll let you know. So this is the phloem here. Now this partition here, this hole, right? Hollow hole is your sieve plate, okay? And then beside the sieve plate, right alongside, is the sieve tube. Not alongside, you could say maybe down below. So here is a hole, right? Let me just grab a pen to annotate. So this hole here is your sieve plate, right? And this region here, this hollow region here, which is underneath the sieve plate, is your sieve tube or element. This is also called a sieve element. And then this region here, these rectangular cells that you can see, is called your not this, sorry, I made a mistake. This is something else. You need not know this for the course. This is not in the course. Just for your extra knowledge though, you can know this. This rectangular, elongated rectangular, right? It needs to be elongated and rectangular here is called the companion cell. Now, how do I identify them? First of all, the partition, the hole, that part of the phloem vessel is always the sieve plate, and underneath that partition is that long narrow part. This whole long narrow part is your sieve tube. Just from the word tube, we can say that this whole thing is a tube, right? Alongside the sieve tube, right beside it. See, this is the sieve tube, and right beside it is your companion cell. Now I'm just gonna get a highlighter and show you what I mean. This region here is your sieve tube, and right beside the sieve tube is your companion cell, right? Rectangular. This is the companion cell. It's always like this, okay? And then the partition here, that hole, is nothing but your sieve plate. So there's a difference, so you just need to understand all of that. It's not that difficult. So let's understand it in more detail. The phloem vessel is made up of two major tissues, which are known as the sieve tube and the companion cell, okay? So the sieve tube and the companion cell are the two major tissues that make up your phloem vessel. So let's highlight that up. Companion cell and sieve tube. The sieve tube here, which is right here, the sieve tube here, just follow the diagram as I explained, is made from sieve tube cells or the sieve tube elements, right? The sieve tube is made up of sieve tube cells or sieve tube elements, and they are made up of the cytoplasm, nucleus, and vacuole, because it is a plant cell, so that's why it needs to have a vacuole. Between the sieve tube is a partition, like I said, in the middle, right, at the center, between, right, not alongside, is a partition or a hole which is known as the sieve plate, right? So let's highlight that up as well. Sieve plate is somewhat a part of the sieve tube. Okay. Beside the sieve tube, which you can see here, the sieve tube beside, right, is a cell that is called the companion cell, which provides food to the sieve cells. So this is something to be understood here. Just from the name you can tell companionship. What is companion? Companion means to help or support someone in need, right? So this companion cell here, what it does is that it supports or helps the sieve tube by giving it food, by supporting it, as you can tell from the name. So that is the only bit of information that you need to remember, as it is not that complicated or extra. Okay, continuing. Now let's study companion cell in more detail. But before we study companion cell in more detail, let's have a look at this diagram here. This picture here, right? It is another picture. So just look at this diagram of your phloem vessels. Look at here. Let me grab a highlighter so that we can understand it. This tube here, right, is your sieve tube, right? And the partition in between is your sieve plate, and that the companion cell needs to be alongside the sieve tube. So let's choose a different colored pen, let's say red, right? So this is the companion cell. It's long and elongated. See, these are your companion cells, and what they do is that they provide food or support to the sieve tube. Okay, so let's study about your companion cells in more detail. So each sieve tube has its own companion cell beside. So if there are 2 sieve tubes, then there need to be 3 companion cells, because they each have their own companion cell. Let's think of it as like this. You need someone to support you. Like if there are 4 members in your family, then each member in your family needs 1 individual person to support them. Let me make it more simple by annotating for you guys. Let's say this is the first sieve tube, this is the second sieve tube, this is the third sieve tube, right? So they each need their very own companion cell. It's not that only one can take care of all the 3 sieve tubes. For example, this one has its own sieve tube companion cell, this one has its own companion cell, and this one has its own companion cell, and they all work with their respective sieve tubes. You cannot expect one sieve tube to work for all of them, for all the sieve tubes, as that is incorrect. That's not how it works. This is what this means, right? Companion cells contain a large number of mitochondria because they play a major role in transport of food from the leaf to the sieve tube cell of the phloem. Now this is where this gets a bit more complicated and complex. Basically what happens is that your companion cells contain a lot of mitochondria. Mitochondria are your organelles that are found in both an animal cell and a plant cell, and this is the organelle in which respiration occurs, which produces energy, and that energy is needed to make the important life activities occur, right? So why does your companion cell need so much energy? It needs the amount of energy to support the sieve tube, and also the fact that the transport of food, which needs to be transported from the leaf into the vascular bundle for transportation, which is actually the sieve tube, that whole process is a bit of a complicated process, and I'll be making a video on that by next week. So next week our main focus will be on transport of food through translocation in more detail, right? So we'll be making a separate video on that. This is just the introduction on phloem vessels. But just to give you a bit of a brief intro here, this here is your leaf, okay? Let's think of it as that. This is your leaf, and let's imagine that the black region is your sugar produced, right, from photosynthesis. Now this sugar here needs to be transported to the different parts of the plant through your phloem vessels, right? And this here is your vascular bundle, with the red one being phloem vessels, right? And the blue one being your xylem vessels. I'm choosing blue for xylem because it carries water, right? So this whole thing is your vascular bundle, right? Let's circle this around in yellow, vascular bundle. Now follow the cursor so that you can know, so that you know what I mean. So this sugar here, what it does is that it travels into the phloem vessels first, and upon entering the phloem vessels, which you can see, this is the magnified diagram of a phloem vessel, it enters the sieve tube, right over here. It enters the sieve tube. The sugar is now present here, right? And now it's present here. A number of processes occur to enable that sugar to be transported to the different parts of a plant. So this is what I'll be teaching you guys in the next video, which will be uploaded next week. So then the basic stuff, they also contain the nucleus, cytoplasm, and macule, same as your sieve tube. Okay, just have a read of this. Like function to the structure of the phloem vessel is given here, and the function is to transport sugars from one part to another, made of sieve tube elements and companion cells. Okay, now this here is just a bit of a summary of your xylem vessel and your phloem vessel. This is your xylem vessel. This is the transport of water. It's just one way only. It's not that it can go up and down. That is not possible here. contains water and some dissolved minerals. No end walls between the cells. This means that there are no blockages or partitions, like this. There's no such thing there. There are no blockages or anything which would obstruct the pathway of water. And there are thick walls which have been lignified with a tough woody material called lignin to prevent it from falling down or collapsing, right? Think of it as like this: the stem of a tree which is made up of wood. Would it ever collapse? No, it would take a lot of energy to collapse it, right? This is the benefits of having lignin. It enables the plant to stay anchored and it stays upright and prevents it from collapsing. And regarding the phloem muscle, there's two-way flow, as we'll be talking about that in the next video. How? In the next video, right? So you can travel up and down both, and it does contain some water, but mostly food, because that food is dissolved in the water, but not much water. And then cells have end walls with perforations. This basically means that these end walls are your sieve plates. Remember sieve plates, which we discussed here? This is your sieve plate right here. It's another sieve plate. This end wall. Basically, end walls and sieve plates are the same thing, right? This is a sieve plate, this is a sieve plate, this is a sieve plate, this is also a sieve plate, and so is this, right? These end walls. There's a reason why they're present, and I'll be talking about that in the next video. Okay, everyone, so that's it for today. I hope this introduction to phloem muscles and also the fact that we just studied about their structure was a bit of a help to you guys. I'll be working on the translocation system and how sugars are transported in a leaf through phloem muscles, and that will be done in much more detail. So stay tuned, as I'll be making that video next week, and then after that we'll be done with this chapter. Then we can start with transport in humans, or we can do digestion. Whatever is convenient for everyone, we'll be working on that, but I'll be making on every single chapter, so don't worry about that. So Facebook viewers, follow, YouTube viewers, subscribe, follow, and both of you comment down in the comment box down below let me know what you want for the future. Share this around, and for sure stay tuned. That's it for today. See you next week.